Hi there, welcome. It's SVPod. Stanford Steve is here. Red is here. Laid out. Saw the big man walking in. He just followed you up the steps.
He came right me up the stairs.
He knew what time it was. For those that are watching, the boy's in a suit. Why am I in a suit? Because if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. You understand the mentality? When we're done here, as we talk on this Monday, we're heading to catch the bird to OKC.
Yes, sir.
Game 5 tonight. We've been at the first 4. It's been really an incredible experience to be there, to feel it. And feel it is what you do. It's been awesome. Awesome. I assume, though, for all the looking back that we'll do on that, story time, this and that. U.S. Open.
Spawner. Come on.
Spawner. Shout out to JJ, U.S. Open champion. What a scene. Not all great.
No.
All right, let's just start there. Steve's, you're pissed at the USGA?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The leader is in the fairway, and he has to stand in and hit a ball on the freaking Potomac River.
I don't know, man. A lot of the rules McJohnny's on Twitter are telling me, well, actually, those are my favorites.
And the biggest problem I have, and I knew it was going to happen because it was getting so controversial, never saw the replay of the club hitting the ball. If there's one shot in the tournament, you want to see the effects, and all this has been made. He went over for 2. I didn't even know you could ask for 2 opinions.
Right. If you don't if you think the first one's wrong, it's like that's a way of basically saying, are you sure about that?
Yeah.
And you're entitled to ask again.
Correct. And good for Sam Burns. And we see the replay of him smashing the club on the, and then it's just a geyser comes out of the water. But I just thought it wasn't right for those circumstances, and how it plays out when you get a weather delay. Yes, the last guys off are going to have to play the most holes with a different course. And, you saw how the math worked out. And, I mean, shout out to McIntyre for just coming in and, trying to shut the door.
Big Bob.
I mean, hell of a job. Wouldn't let anything get in his way. And you just saw Adam Burns and Adam Scott just, they're left there hanging. And but I don't want to take anything away because the way Spaun did it.
It's 2 different conversations.
Yes.
Because the Spaun piece we'll get to, it was earned. As both he and Tyrrell Hatton, I love it's a very sort of European saying, fair play. Hatton was being interviewed live as the putt was made, and his reaction was great because I really like Tyrrell. Everyone has they think he's mental. They just think he's an insane person. He's actually quite charming and lovely.
Yeah.
On a golf course, he goes nuclear quite a bit. But as he's watching that, and he's like, oh, he's made it. Oh, what a way to win. Fair play. I mean, it was an incredible putt, but that's Tyrrell's reaction. And McIntyre, the left-handed Scott, by the way, no lefties ever won the U.S. Open. Just an odd sort of circumstance. Phil Mickelson came close 6 times a runner-up. And McIntyre watches him make it, just starts clapping in the scorer's area and just goes, wow. What else is there to say but that? But to the point you're making on Burns, it rained so hard, and that golf course is saturated, and they're squeegeeing from the fairway to the area where Burns is, on the far side of a fairway. And I get it. If you can take me a picture of the rules and say, if you're standing there and it's not, the water's not blah, 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 figure it out. The water was right there at the surface. And again, this is where golf Twitter, you're a delight. Give me your interpretations of the rules. People are getting relief all over the fucking golf course, but not Burns in that moment. And I think it's a mistake. And by the way, people that I'm like, big-time players, whether it was on Twitter or by text, I had one guy say to me, look, that's a 10 out of 10 relief. Yeah. If it's a regular event, you don't even ask for a ruling. You're playing partner, you're like, hey, I'm going to, for sure. No questions asked. No questions asked. Relief. Wasn't in this instance. It led to a double. Adam Scott mentioned on 11, you might have seen, he hit one that was just sort of inexplicably off. These guys are so precise. If they could hit a fairway, and unfortunately for Scotty, as an Adam Scott, just couldn't find one. When you expect the contact to be pure, but the club kind of hydroplanes, you have no idea where the ball's going. None.
You need a hoverboard to hit the ball.
Well, in some of these circumstances, you did. And so for people to be getting relief here, but not here, and I guess that's like any officiating, right? Is this a block or a charge where you called one thing here, you don't call there? I get it. That I believed it was an unfortunate ruling at a really critical time.
Now, we've talked about how players have been handling themselves after unfortunate situations or just factly not wanting to talk. I cannot tell you how impressed I was with Sam Burns after.
Yep.
Like, just got up there and took it. And, plenty has been made. I'm sure we'll get to Rory and that whole thing and the idea of speaking. But to get up there and take it, man, that guy's cruising up my favorite golfers just because of that, the way he handled it. And everybody's watching, and everybody knows what's going to happen. When that happens, it's done. He's not making up. He's not birdie. There's no way.
John Rahm did, which shout out to Gordo. Boy, did he save your ass.
Oh, we'll get to.
Oh, yeah. That report card's coming.
See if he picks up the phone and see if he wants to face the music. Take it.
Like Sam Burns did.
But Sam Burns was unbelievable. And then Adam Scott coming in. Like, you've known Adam Scott forever. It's cool because he gets that limelight, and then Saturday night happens, and everybody starts branching off of who they're rooting for and everything. But Adam Scott, like, just there, what was it, 90-something majors now?
In a row.
It's stupid. And you're like, the Green Jacket's an all-timer, him in the rain, getting it finally. And then it's been that long.
Would have been the longest stretch in between majors. But just look, the way he's been playing, and he had a rough Sunday, just could not hit a fairway. But the way he's played this year, I don't think that's his last swing at it. And by swing at it, I mean a chance to contend and be there on Sunday. And that's really all this is about. It's why you used to hear Tiger all the time talk about just you want to have 4 times a year, have your game peaking. It's hard to make it happen. So much of it's just good fortune and circumstance and when does your time show up. But I couldn't agree more on Burns because, I said on Twitter, if that's me, I'd have been arrested. I'd have been absolutely out of my skull, out of my tree that happened. And he was incredibly stoic after the fact. He said it, he described what it was, and he said, and that was that. Now, he could have gone anywhere, but he didn't.
How Louisiana people are. Well, I love them.
Oh, Tigers.
But just give me the replay of the shot. I just want to see the club hitting
Well,
the
you
ball.
did see him slam at the ground, and it was just, as you described it, a geyser. I mean, that's how much water there was there. I mean,
they changed the chant from "Here we go Steelers" to "Here we go Squeegees" when they started squeegeeing the course.
And, man, it was, me and the wet fronts and the radar, and I couldn't. It was just spinning. There was just these orange blobs, and it rained like that here the other night. Holy crap. Middle of the night, Charlie comes in my room. Dad, are we going to have a flood? Like, why do you think he goes, it's raining so hard? I said, go back to bed, son. We're going to be all right. He literally thought there was going to be a guy out back with animals paired up 2 by 2 building a boat. Excuse me, an ark. No, it didn't flood here, but the golf course was pretty flooded. JJ Spaun.
Yeah.
Texting last night with Colt Knost about, he told me a round he played with him in Canada. He's like, this guy, speaking of Flush Factory, that guy is the founder. He runs the Flush Factory. He said, I played with this guy in Canada. He hit it incredible all day, shot 67. And at the end, I'm like, how are you not on the PGA Tour? There are so many players out there in the world that have game. And it's such a fickle game because it can leave you and you lose confidence. Maybe you don't have status on a tour or whatever. Spaun had an amazing junior career. He was a guy, but had to walk on at San Diego State. And his story's awesome. And then he's the first round leader. He's right there with a chance Sunday. His daughter's sick as you could be at 3 a.m. He's in CVS. Happy Father's Day. That's how his day started. And he goes out and he bogeys 5 of the first 6, has as bad a break as you could possibly have on the second hole. And he shoots 40. He's done. Done. Or rain delay comes at a great time. his people get with him and like, stop trying so hard.
Clench the palate.
Relax. And then he had great graphic on the Golf Channel.
Longest putts.
The 2 longest putts he has made all year on the PGA Tour were the 12th hole and then the 18th hole. And then strange things happen from time to time. They kind of have to happen if you're going to win majors. You just get a little bit of that weird good fortune where Hovland's approach ends up directly on Spaun's line. And he's outside of Spaun, which means Spaun's going to get to go to school on Hovland, who, by the way, if Coughlin could have putted at all yesterday, there's about 10 people that are like, golly, I didn't play great, and I still could have won. Scotty Scheffler had like a C-D Scotty Scheffler game. Still finished top 10. If he made any putts, he could have won. But then Spaun gets to see exactly the line that Coughlin hits, but it wasn't the line afterwards that Spaun said. He said, I knew the line. It was how hard he hit it because it had been raining even in that last 10 minutes. So Spaun now knows, I gotta give this thing a whack. And he buries it. And it was just an incredible end, like 2 putts for the win. How about 1?
Yeah. Everybody, having fun with their reactions and all that. I do believe they went back and got the putter out of the bunker. People were worried that the caddy never went back and got it. And JJ mentioned it as I think he was doing his signing card. He's like, I think a putter's still in the bunker after he tossed it. The caddy, I thought he was going to kill somebody. And JJ, just put the umbrella down when you're celebrating, man. It's over. You're good. He was whipping. He's hugging him, and that umbrella's whipping. I'm like, that thing's a weapon.
I think that was just proper caddying. Make sure your man stays dry. Make sure your man stays dry. Rule number 1.
It was over. He'll be happy.
I'm sure he was.
No, the story's incredible. I also read a thing about how somebody randomly saw JJ on like a public muni out in Southern California, and he's like, yeah, this is where I like to work on it because it keeps me level-headed with the other people. I don't see the other guys at the country club or be wowed by anybody else. I'm here doing my work, and it keeps me grounded. Then I see him on a skate. I'm like, I knew that guy was a skateboarder when he was young. Knew it. SoCal guy. You could just tell by his look. He got some skills, too. And that's what's crazy about the Southern California guys all the time, especially you get these golfers where they're modest. They're not going to talk a lot about themselves. And it always happened on the basketball court where it'd be like, yeah, I played a little bit in high school. I'm like, Jesus, 6'3", whatever. Guy could run like a deer, dunk, shoot. But JJ's that mindset. And it was really cool to see the old videos. And that's part of the story. We've all been there, 3 a.m., maybe not on Father's Day, but 3 a.m. at CVS in the middle of downtown Pittsburgh, trying to get, exactly what you're going to get, too. So, yeah, I just, the way he stayed in the fight, man, we say it all the time. To stay in Golf Channel and their post game did the breakdown of all the breaks he caught, the bad ones on the front.
The second hole is all time because he hit it perfect. That's going to take one hop and stop. He said afterwards, I felt like it was a two-shot swing because that's potentially birdie
to bogey.
Definition is stay in the fight.
Stayed in it. And
definition.
Somebody was looking at it saying, here, you know what? Hovland's going to hit it right outside. Here you go. Think he makes it without Hovland's read?
Probably not because, again, it wasn't the read. It's not an easy putt, but you know what it is. It's tilted hard left to right. But the question is, how hard do I have to hit it? And he got some teach off of that.
The behind the pin camera angle of how far left he had to hit it was crazy. But going back to all the problems of putting, we mentioned 7 guys, in the putting problems, and it's because of the conditions, right?
Well, I mean, they're actually lucky it rained at some point because that golf course would have been truly, truly unmanageable if they didn't have some of that fire taken out of it with rain. But then when it rains that much, you're trying to figure out what is the speed and the pace because there's so much undulation. What'd you think of Oakmont? What do you think of it? I mean, it's 10.
I like the old Oakmont.
Kind of an interesting.
It's nuts. Golf Digest. I sent it to you. I think late Saturday night when I was just looking through stuff. We talk about Congressional. You live close to it. They're going to have a field day with the before and afters like they did with Oakmont. I mean, it looks like a totally different course. And then the overhead. The last one they save. I mean, they're what they do is they show side by side of 94 and 07 with tee shots and what guys and how streamlined it is with all the trees. And then at the end they do the the Goodyear blimp overshot. And there's no trees. It's just fairways, greens, fairways, greens, fairways, greens. In the old days, you could see the trees line the holes, but they're not coming back. So
I'll be dead. But at some point, folks across the street at Congressional and the folks at Oakmont, however many decades from now, folks are going to go, you know what our course could use? Trees? Yep, we could use some trees. Well, we had thousands of them, and then we let in a guy with a chainsaw cut them all down. It's just incredible. And I mean, it's just like a golf course. I get it. Over time, grass grows, the topography of it changes. And Gil Hanse is awesome. He's the guy that redid Oakmont. But when it's that perfect, and it feels like an AI version of what Oakmont used to be. It's this immaculate, exact thing. That's not the way the outside of world is. Stuff grows in. Stuff changes, the wind, erosion, whatever it might be. I don't know. And it seems unnecessary to me to cut down all the trees. That's the trend of the moment in golf course architecture. I don't know how many of our listeners are super into that, so I don't want to get bogged down in it. Oakmont's an all-timer. It's an incredibly difficult test. There were plenty of dudes that definitely at the end of their week were like, if we don't come back here anytime soon, that'll be fine. Bad news for you. It's inside 5 or 6 years, they're going back. So buckle up.
Yeah, and I thought a bunch of the people that were on the ground there, our guy McGinnis was on the radio, and I thought it was interesting because he talked about how with no trees, you really, really see the difference in elevation along the course.
It's amazing.
And the holes.
It's amazing how blind tee shots, how many blind second shots there are. The slopes on the greens are unbelievable. Having walked it, having been there, I think the one thing about the overhead is they give you a great sense of scale, but they don't show you the amount. Like, those greens are insane. And you saw it when guys are hitting putts. You're like, why is he aiming 70 feet left? Because that's the only way you can get near the hole. It was mayhem. Like, watching it in the rain, and I'm like, are they going to finish? And then all of a sudden, when Burns starts backing up, you really start entertaining the fact that, like, wait a minute, Rahm posted 4? He posted 4. Could he win? I'm thinking, there's no way someone won't get in. And then Big Bob McIntyre posted, and you're like, okay, well, 4 ain't winning. But anything seemed possible the way the wheels were falling off in those conditions late.
Hatton trying to get out of the rough and going over the bunker into more rough. I think
that was 17. Yeah, that was his chance. And that's where Spaun, what I'll remember forever about 2007 being there is it was Tigers right there, and Cabrera won, and Cabrera stepped up on 18. It's 72nd hole of the U.S. Open. It's scary. It was a little more claustrophobic. The trees didn't really crowd in there, but the rough certainly did. And Cabrera stepped up, took his heater, threw it on the ground, and absolutely pounded a drive down the middle. And you're like, that's how you do it. Spaun hit the shot of his life on 17. I thought for a brief second it might go in. And then after he makes his birdie, steps up on 18, does the exact same thing. Absolutely hammers a drive. You're seeing guys they couldn't hit the fairway for $1 million. And Spaun, 71st, 72nd hole, Cassell GIF wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
He had the minerals.
Lerner pointed out on the Golf Channel, I thought it was great. That shot on 17 off the tee by Spaun was a lot like Morikawa at Harding Park.
No question.
Rolled it right by the hole. And
I thought literally for a brief second I'm thinking it's going to hit the stick. And and then it's like I didn't process it in real time. Like, but if it would have hit the stick that hard, he could have gotten screwed like he did on 2. It wouldn't have rolled off the green, not like he did on 2. It rolled 49 yards on 2. But he 2-putted there. Now he's good. Now he knows a par is probably going to be good enough. But a birdie, you finish in a way that a lot of instead of all the conversation being about should they even have been playing, was the ruling just criminal? Like, instead it becomes, hey, out of that melee, out of this Talladega 8 wide coming towards the tape. The guy won it rather than someone losing it.
And that's what I wanted. I wanted somebody in that, because no offense to McIntyre, but like him sitting there and like he knew it. I mean, everybody watching knew it. It was like, holy shit, now +1 can do it. Because to your point, you brought up Rahm, and then I'm watching Scotty. I'm like, can he get to 2? Like, he had all those birdie putts across the green, whatever. And it's like, is 2 going to win this? As you pointed out, Burns is backing up. And then McIntyre comes with the 1. It's like, oh shit, the pressure's on these last couple groups. They got to get there. And Spaun took that advantage, man. Opportunity, it was there, and he grabbed it. And
that's
all-timer.
You've heard me say it forever, particularly in golf. I always feel like it at the Masters, because that's the one where if you do it, you get to come back forever. When a situation in life, you can apply this to anybody listening. When a situation in life presents itself, it could be like a life-changing thing. Brother, you better grab it, because you have no idea if it's coming again. And here's a dude that had doubt. He battled all of that.
Never top 20 in a major.
Never. And now here he is. 40 on the front. That's in the rear view, man. My moment is now. And he had the balls to step up and pull off. Like, those are legendary shots, man.
At that place?
Birdie at Oakmont, you joined Ben Hogan. That's the only people that ever did that to win. Exactly. And when those moments present themselves, if you miss the moment, then it's a completely different path you take. This guy wins. If nothing else, you're a forever player because you're on that trophy. And all of the things that get you in for the next however many years, it's just incredible when that moment is in front of a player and they make it a forever moment. And I was smiling because the old line about the U.S. Open is old man par. People heard Adam Scott mention that, and they think he's talking about him being an old man. In the U.S. Open, old man par is your friend, meaning on any hole, any round, par's great. And we talked about, like, would par be good enough this week? And I said, take par right now and say, I'll take it, and I'll see you Sunday, and my name's VAN space, capital P, put the name on the trophy. And then when Spaun made that, I'm like, son of a bitch, par wasn't good enough because he made that birdie on the last, which was, I don't know, it's a big boy test. It's exactly what was advertised. Got a little bit hairy there with the weather, but it was incredible. It's mesmerizing to me the way it finished, because it felt flat, and it felt flat in part because in the middle of that rain delay, we get 2008 Tiger.
I want to be in that moment once, because I'm racing. It's one of the things I rely on myself and my memory, and I'm like, what are they going to? You can't show guys warming up because nobody's allowed on the course. Where are they going? Are they going to 07? No, they're not going to show Tiger losing. I know they're not going to do that. What else does NBC have in the dumper?
Push play.
Boom. 08, and then they go right there to the Eagle.
And by the way, it was 08 Saturday.
Yeah.
And you saw the guys from No Laying Up. They're like, I went from what are they doing to Tiger?
And that's what I can't get over, Scott. I mean, nothing compares to it. And you lived it week in and week out.
I did.
The ferocity and the noise of the crowds he brought upon. Like, I'm like, all right, perfect. Delay. They're said 5:40. We're going to go early dinner here, get everything ready, and I'm going to be back on the couch. And I just keep hearing these roars from the kitchen. I'm like, oh my God. And I go back, I'm rewinding it. And there's young Lee Westwood, not a gray hair in there. It was funny. Right after the Eagle on 13, Tiger's walking, young Michael Collins, jet black mustache, gives him a little fist pump. And like, I'm just noticing all these things. The pants, bring them back. Let's go baggy.
Let's not.
Come on.
Those slacks
that's your 4-button blazer era, right?
Many pleats.
Yes. Bring them back.
Aggressive pleats, very, very big at the bottom, billowing hammer pants. But I was there. I was there. We were covering the U.S. Open. Buddy, let me tell you, the coolest thing about that being wedged into the weather delay is it rained just long enough for people to get to see all of Saturday. And that back nine Saturday, there's so many little time capsule moments where you want to know what was it like, what it looked like, what it feel like, what it sound like that. And he did it over and over and over. And just seeing it happen. And I'm thinking, man, I want to watch Oakmont, but I want it to last. I want him to get to 17 and 18.
Yeah.
I wanted to hear the legendary one time, the chip on 17, where it bounces in and you hear there's just a perfect lull and the guy screams one time and right on cue it goes in. And then he makes another eagle on 18. And it was just, I mean, watching it 17 years later, and I'm thinking, how cool is it? I was there. I remember it. Boomer, I was there. But for the people that never saw this dude, if you're younger, you're in your 20s, you're like, you hear these stories, like, come on. That motherfucker right there, that's what we saw, like, on a weekly basis, doing outrageous things like that over and over and over. The putt on 13 is never anywhere but in from a mile.
What I never realized was, and I think it helped him, even though he lost on Monday, Rocco's behind him and is watching all this. He can't hit because of the crowds and everything that Tiger's doing in front of him. And he's watching it right. I mean, better view than anybody.
And by the way, and he's, hey, not for nothing, Sunday, he's ahead. His nose is in front.
Yeah.
And Tiger's got to get up and down from the rough, and he makes an all-time birdie putt, which barely catches that right edge. But the reactions of those people in Torrey, like, it was religion, man. People were just out of their minds, and it was the kind of thing where you're like, oh, he can't do it again.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. You know what? He's probably going to do it again. Think he's going to do it again? I do. He did it again. And this is horrible name dropping, but it just, I think, makes the story better. As I'm watching this, I sent a text to Tiger just in all caps one time. I was like, that was a pretty sick week, dude. I never know if the guy's, he's Tiger. He could be on a yacht doing anything. He could be.
He's watching the U.S.
I get a text back, and this is what makes me laugh because of the reaction you saw in 17 after he made it. I hammered that chip. He knew, like, if that doesn't go buckets there, that's going to go by quite a ways. But 2008 Tiger Woods, no, don't worry. It's buckets. It's in for 3, in for birdie, and the momentum continues.
He broke there. And what I mean is when he chips and it goes in.
Broke character.
You never saw the smile.
Because he knew he hammered the chip.
But 2000, 2001 Tigers, yeah, like it's not even like robot. And I just, like, that's what it sounds like when everybody's on the same side at a golf tournament. Like, I get it. Bryson, is playing to the crowd, and it ain't close.
No, hey, listen, Bryson last year at Pinehurst was awesome. Yeah. I mean, that was an amazing scene without question.
But good Lord.
Nothing in the game sounds like that.
Grown-ass ladies losing their mind.
Something, man.
And
by the way, he was broken physically, as we know, playing on the leg that was all jacked up. His 2008 season, he played 6 tournaments. He won 4 of them. He finished 2nd at the Masters and 5th at a World Golf Championship event. 6 events, 4 1s, 1 2, and a 5.
Are the guys still out there that remember the guys back then that would be like, yeah, but those he only goes to those because he thinks he can win them. Remember those guys?
I know that wherever he went, he won. That's what I know. It was cool to see, like, Westwood and
young Carlson,
Big Bobby Carlson, dreamy Robert Carlson. Stuart Appleby was in one of the groups.
Ball.
Yeah, he was like,
he had a 79 on Saturday.
Had a rough
day. Couldn't throw that ball fast.
No, thank you. Don't need this one anymore. So it was the rarest of things where you go to a rain delay, and I'm really curious if it's the kind of thing where you see an uptick rating wise because people, like, you get to watch Tiger in his prime. And then, fortunately, what we got in 2025, seeing Spaun was some all-time legendary stuff too. But it was just so cool to be taken back to that particular event and that guy and who he was at that time. 17 years later, nothing else quite like it.
Just let me see the replay of Sam Burns. All I want. I don't need the shadow on the tracer either. You've called it like all these new, like that's the thing with Tiger. I'm like watching 08. It's like I need the leaderboard. Like what's going on here? You know, it's just blank screen. And an NBC scoreboard was like in the middle top. But
we've gotten better with the graphics and all those types of things. But yeah, I'm with you.
But I got caught with the NBC tracer watching the shadow. Like I see the ball tracker. I don't need the shadow. It's from elevation. You're showing me two things.
Right, well, we'll send this to Sandsy. Let our guy Steve Sands sort that out.
Sandsy will be at the 5th major.
Oh yeah,
buckle up now.
Shout out to John Rahm, birdie finish. That's a top 10 for Rambo, which means that's a hammer, which cashes for Gordo.
Oh, we're still talking.
We got to give
people don't give a shit about the single hammers.
We got to give the grades out. X, shout out to Xander, professional Sunday round under par, got him to a top 20. Always manages to get there. But the double hammers, Ofer. People are pissed. Gordo's just we're calling him.
I'm just gonna see if he answers.
All right. Call to Gordo.
Maybe he's looping.
Might have to. He's running for the units.
Yeah. He'll call back.
Well, I mean, listen, it's been bad, objectively. But I'll tell you this. The bookkeeping as it relates to your ledger, you go double hammer, that's 4 units. Single hammers, you win 2 of them, that's 2. So you lose 2 units. Losing 2 units is not great. It's a hell of a lot better than losing 6 units.
Yeah. How he got there, I'll never know. I mean, people were coming for blood Saturday night. I was like, there's people. And I said, Gordo, welcome to the world. What'd you text?
What?
This is the world we chose?
Oh, this is the life we chose.
This is the life we chose. It's just, and when you have a loser, everyone loves to pile on. And then when you win, not a word.
That's the road to perdition line. This is the life we chose. You dive in the deep end, people are coming for you when your picks are absolute buns. So the good news is he got a couple.
Yeah. His future, we're going to let him decide.
Oh, what on? As for whether
we do have a major this week, is he's going to? I'm sure he'll still have the tweet come out fire. I don't know if there'll be double hammers, but you know.
So what should we do for Portrush? Is that the question?
Yeah,
I think maybe he didn't qualify for Portrush. I think maybe the Open qualifiers. I think maybe Gordo doesn't make it on the flight across the Atlantic for that one on Aer Lingus.
I lean towards giving him the last major.
I say so too. I'm trying to give him the off ramp if he just wants to limp off to the rest area. Put the significant lipper in the mezzanine and just take a deep breath. If he'd rather not participate, I'm going to give him that. I'm going to give him that courtesy. Show him a bit of grace. Been a difficult major season.
How old did he say the kid was that was chirping him at the course? 16.
Yeah, he said I'm going to find this.
He didn't have to say. I think that's what people were very upset is about the presentation. And him saying it's the most predictable sport out there, that's where you don't have to go, Gordo. But he'll learn. He's a youngster.
He is young.
He's young.
He is young. Showed up at the shack this morning for a loop, 7:30 a.m. First thing that's said comes out of some high school kid's mouth. Yo, Gordo, your U.S. Open picks were absolute ass, bro. Get chirped by a random 16-year-old. That's spectacular.
Buddy,
again,
let me tell you.
This is the life we chose. You're over here talking about most predictable and the hammers and the all-time record. You're going to get what you get at the Caddy Shack, 7:30 a.m.
Jack.
Haven't even
Showed up for a loop.
Showed up for a loop. Don't even have your first cup of Joe. You're getting chirped by some kid that goes to Conard. Isn't that a high school up there?
Yeah. West Hartford.
Just go to your home ec class and let Gordo grind some numbers.
I trying to think if I have anything else.
You mentioned the Rory stuff. I'm just baffled by what happened. Like, what's going on? Like, people are going to speculate about his life. I will not do that. The man's life's his own business. He mentioned after yesterday, like, I climbed my Everest and I'm trying to come down the mountain. And I get that. Like, I in my life haven't ever, nor will I ever have a monumental accomplishment such as that, like finishing off the career Grand Slam. I don't know what comes afterwards. You wonder, is it like, I don't have anything to chase, I don't have a hill to climb? But that doesn't, to me, explain just the fact that his resting posture seems pissed off at everyone.
Yeah.
And I just baffled by it because he is, I don't want to say past tense, like, to me, he is such a leader of a tour, has been incredibly accountable more than anybody. And maybe he just reached the point where he's like, you know what? I'm fucking done. I've done this forever. And now I feel like I've reached a point where I get to do whatever I want. Saying the quiet part out loud like that makes people go, oh, really? Well, that's an interesting way to frame it. It's just, he just seems like he's mad at everything and everybody. And that's the part I don't quite get. And like, not for nothing, like the whole live thing led to these elevated events. And then Jack has an elevated event and he doesn't go and didn't call him. Like, after he sat down with him and they brainstormed how to win Augusta, it's like, you don't call Jack? At least that's the report I got. That's poor form is what that is. From a guy that's pretty much only had, in my opinion, immaculate form. Always done and said things that I thought, that's well done. And now I'm like, it's odd. Odd is the only thing I can say. I don't know the source of it. I won't speculate. It's none of my, how would I know? Just seems like he's suddenly become a different dude. It's like a heel turn almost.
Yeah, you said it with the live thing. It's funny, when the live announcement came where they were going to up the stakes, and you tweeted out something about, wait, you're gonna take the money after you told these guys whatever, the whole thing.
Right. You told these guys they couldn't take the money, and you asked for their loyalty, and then you turned around and took the money from the same people you said they couldn't take it from.
That one. JJ Spaun retweeted it that day too, by the way.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. So I got in a wormhole last time, looking on the Spaun, but I'm like, look at that. I'm like, all right, Spaun was feeling the same thing as Scott was. No, I get it. Like, I talk about getting up there and taking it. Rory took it, man. He was up there front and center of this whole live thing.
He was the Jon Snow meme or GIF. Is it a meme or a GIF? I always get, God, it's like Peepaw vision. We know. Whatever it is.
GIFs are video. Memes, I think, are stills.
Well, the one where Jon Snow pulls out the sword and he's like, I'll take on all of you. That was Rory. Front and center for the tour. And by the way, if that pissed him off forever, like, oh, wait, you're going to make me do this and then you're going to turn around and basically stab me in the back? Well, that would have made me mad.
Yeah. So
but what's made him mad after this? Like, is it the driver thing at Quail Hollow?
I went back. I watched 5 interviews after the Masters. He started every single one of them with, what are you guys going to talk about next year now? You know how that was the lead up in the Augusta?
It was his first comment in the press center at Augusta.
Interview. He did it when he got on the set with the guys. So I think of that in him trying to unleash everything. He talked about, the supposed Mount Everest, whatever. But to be that high and then knowing, like, there was questions when we were at Quail Hollow. How's he going to respond to this? Is he going to put the time in? The annual Grand Slam is now available, which he never had because he never won Augusta. And then the driver thing happens, and then it's silence. And then he comes on and he talks. He skips Jacks. He comes on and he talks. Then he does a scrum Saturday night. And you could just tell he's just got this pissed off vibe to him.
That's the thing.
And it's short answers. And I think the second to last, are you upset? And he's like, no, it's more with you guys. Yeah. Then he elaborated a little bit. He's like, not you guys here. Because there's guys from Ireland. You could hear the questions with accents, the whole thing. And he's like, maybe not all of you guys, but about, some others.
I think the frustration. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And then, like, second to last question, which really, he's like, guy was like, the goal for tomorrow. And he's like, hopefully it's 4.5 hours and I can get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, man.
That's what I'm saying. The resting posture
where he is
just pissed off.
Yeah.
And I don't blame him for being pissed about the way the driver thing came out, because it made it seem like, and it turned into, oh, he was cheating at Augusta. No, he had a driver that he hit a zillion times. It got to the point where it was non-conforming, and so they said you can't hit this driver anymore. And it also happened to Scottie Scheffler that week. And Rory in Canada explained why that bothered him, and I don't blame him. But that's in the past. You're at Oakmont now. On we go. But he still seems at odds with everybody. And I don't know, it's a curious sort of demeanor change that feels real abrupt, and it's a real 180.
Because Thursday, but he's playing well early on. He had the hop. Walking.
The Rory bounce?
Yep. He had. I mean, I was showing you on the iPad. I'm like, look at him.
Here we go.
He's in it. And things deteriorated over time. The way it looks, I think he was pissed. He made the cut line moved on Friday because he didn't really have any interest in being there.
Hey, listen, he shot 67 on Sunday,
Oh, yeah. I looked at that. His over-under was 70.5. Him and Scotty were 70.5.
I think that might have gotten T20. I think 7 got to 20. T19? Do I have that right?
Yeah, he's right there. T19, 7.
Wow, so the top 20 came all the way back to +7. That's
cut line. The original cut line.
That's wild. Huh, okay. Moving on?
Yeah. What do you got?
It's been a blast being at these finals games. We're getting ready to get on a plane for Game 5 tonight. It's 2-2, which feels like the proper accounting. That the math feels right. Game 1, Pacers stole. Game 4, I don't know if I'd say stole for the Thunder, but I was convinced that the Pacers were winning that game. They're up 10, late third. Missed a chance to extend that lead to a place where it felt like maybe they could have knocked the Thunder out. They had them reeling, but they weren't able to do it. And somehow a team that had 3 3-pointers made in an excuse me, let me get that right. European 3. I just did the Inglorious Bastards where I went American 3. Everybody does this now. That's the way the cool kids do it.
Mm-hmm.
The Dirk Nowitzki 3. They only had 3 in the entire game, but Shea hits one late to cut a 4-point lead to 1, and then I'm going to ask you this. The elbow and then the stumble, like that's something, right?
Yes.
Happens right in front of Scott Foster. And the whole Foster extender thing, like I love that Carlisle's like, hey, listen, Scott Foster's a great official. Like he gets these games because he's well regarded. The conspiracy theories about how that works. I don't feel like the game was officiated. I mean, I felt like that moment was a chance to just say, that's something. Either you extended your right arm or you took 3 steps because you took 3 steps. And please don't hit me with any gather, I don't know, ball. He had the ball in his hands and he took 3 steps. It was something. Nothing's called. He hits a shot, they take the lead, they never give it back. All of this said, 2-2 feels like about the right bookkeeping based on the way these games have gone. You share that sentiment?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Bad beat at Indiana plus 6.5 game 4.
Sickening.
I thought it was
Mathurin went to the line and just missed every free throw. My God. That was after the 27-point game in game 3 where he's incredible.
Yeah. A couple things.
Okay.
We have been lucky enough to be at every game, and we will be at every game for this series. And this is why I wanted new blood. These atmospheres have been freaking insane.
Really, really.
How loud it is. But then on top of it, the play. And we're on the court pregame. Game 1, we're like, holy shit, Obi Toppin's a monster. Then Chet comes out. Then Hartenstein. Like these guys are just freakazoids. And to see them play at this level, the defense, Indiana in game 3, what they did, it was like, holy shit, I never seen OKC look like this. And
they made him look really bad for a lot of game 4 too.
And Indiana has the lead. You pointed out to the extender thing. I went to our conspiracy theorist, Mr. Rosillo, no one watches more. As he pointed out, you can have it with the Scott Foster. They called four fouls on defensive rebounds on OKC to start the fourth quarter. Indiana was in shooting the penalty with over
6 minutes.
With over 6:09, I think he said it was. So there you go with that, okay? But OKC's defense and how they knew they weren't making threes, and we're looking at it. I mean, who said it was?
Jalen Williams came on.
Yeah.
He's like, I looked up when he came on with me on SportsCenter. He said, I thought there was a glitch.
He's like I thought 3-point percentage was glitching.
He's like, we were 8%. Like, no, that was what you got, buddy.
But to see them figure it out with the lineup, and Caruso's been unbelievable in his role. But just to see Lou Dort there in person is just stupid.
If he played football, he'd be a linebacker, right?
Give me him. I'll find a spot for him.
And his intensity on we've talked a lot about the pregame, like watching the shots. He's the guy that's getting through screens. That's part of his pregame workout, is the defensive, just getting over and through screens.
Yep.
And he's built for that. Go ahead.
And the way we've seen in time, role players not be as big on the road. You know, Wiggins has an unbelievable game too.
I don't know if he scored since then.
It's crazy. Even Wallace has only a couple buckets, I think, in the games in Indy. But then to find them, you know, he goes back to the double bigs in the middle of the fourth, just to try and settle some things. And Chet was knocked around. I thought Chet was incredible defensively. But again, the idea and seeing it in person of Dort extending over half court and saying, all right, Tyrese, I got you. And it just changes the whole thing. Siakam was a non-factor in the second half, but that extension of the defense and seeing how together that, you know, your old high school coach talks about being connected on the ropes. OKC, they had to do it. They weren't going to outshoot them. And that's been a big part of the series also. That was the only way they were going to do it, was get stops and then let their guys figure it out. They did it, and I think it's one of the most impressive things I've seen that team do as they've been together these couple of years.
Oklahoma City is the most aggressive and best defensive team that I've ever watched from the top of the key to half court.
Huh.
I've never seen a team guard that aggressively. And granted, the way the game has evolved, where we start our offense, we and our being just the game in general, starts at half court. I mean, the days of packing the paint, like, that's not the way the game's played. So you spread things out more. But spreading things out more makes it a risky proposition if you really are aggressive out there guarding, because you get beat and now it's 5-on-4. They attack on defense from the top of the key towards half court. And watching it from where me, you, Legler, L. Duncan, and a bunch of folks were sitting in the arena in Indy the other night, it's incredible because you have kind of a bird's eye view of how Dort in particular, like, they're just attacking the offense on defense going towards midcourt. It's insane. Makes it impossible. Like, in both teams, neither team on that side inbounds play can get the ball in bounds. It's like a bunch of raptors out there from Jurassic Park. It's insanity. They can't get the ball in bounds.
And I will say on the other side, Nembhard, you want to talk about Caruso and Dort getting away with stuff? Nembhard is right there. But I want to give him credit because he's been incredible. I know Shea's putting up 30 points.
I don't think he's as physical as the OKC defenders are. I think the OKC defenders are as physical as anybody. When Halliburton finally got an and one call, he's screaming, "They called the foul." That's his first free throw made in the finals.
Yeah,
which is insanity. But I think Nembhard's done an incredible job. I don't think he's nearly as physical with the way he plays.
No, but he's able to get how he's able to get up in you and how good Shea is. And Legs pointed out this is a way better matchup for Nembhard than Brunson was, because Brunson could use his girth more, and where Nembhard and Shea likes to be in space more. But I also thought OKC found it the way Nembhard was guarding Shea. Hey, J-Dub, you take it up, and then we'll figure out that two-man game if they went too late. Because it's funny, a football saying is always, if a team blitzes a lot, blitz them. See how they handle it. Mm-hmm. Are they prepared? OKC has handled it in the biggest crunch times, and that's why he's the MVP, man. I'm sitting there, I'm looking at it, and he got to 31 points with 5 free throws made in the biggest game of the season, and it was just he took it and he wanted it. And people have talked about the team's being tired, okay, but you still got to go do it. And both teams are up against it. Both teams played Wednesday and both teams played Friday. Now you got a couple more days. I don't know, because Indiana will not go away. And I only think Halliburton's going to be better. They found a way to unlock him for Game 3, and now you got another biggest game of the year tonight. So
they got to win one in Oklahoma City, whether it's this one or Game 7. If it gets that far, that's going to be the steep challenge, because they already got one, and the way they got it was pulled one out of a hat, the same way Denver did in Game 1 of the Western Conference semis. So got to get one if you're the Pacers. 4 games have been incredible to be at. As you say, atmosphere is really, really cool. Intensity of the games, really notable.
Start to finish.
Really notable. It's a shame Game 4 ended the way it did, with a bunch of these fouls before the inbounds, which led to free throws, which were significant to some. Because that game was amazing, as was Game 3.
And the one thing I keep going back to is the 3-point shooting in the fourth quarter. OKC didn't make one in the Game 1. They didn't make one in Game 3. They lost both those games. Indiana.
They made one in Game 4, but it was a shot that cut the lead from 4-1 and made it seem gettable, and it was in the end. So we'll see OKC for this one. We'll see Indiana for Game 6 Thursday at minimum, and potentially we'll run it back one last time. We'll see if that's necessary. Florida's going to end it in 6. They're better. They've been better the whole series. Assess.
Yeah.
Been better.
They're just a machine.
They really are.
And I think you really saw it. Like, there's no doubt in my mind they were going to Edmonton and winning after they blew Game 4. And the way they come out and get a goal in the first 10, it's Marchand. And
he's so good.
It's incredible.
It's wild how when he got traded, he was wounded, man. Like, how much Boston means to him. I'm sure it didn't die.
But where he was going, and then the Bennett ordeal, like, there was a lot there.
I know, and there's plenty of Florida people like, hey, fuck that guy. And now they're like, but also we love him. I mean,
can we keep him?
Right, we hate him, but also never want him to not play on our team. He's been just amazing. Like, the speed and the fact that he always seems to be in the right place to make his impact felt in a second. Like, he gets the puck and he's down there and the puck's in the net more than anyone in this series. They beat the crap out of him in Game 3, beat the crap out of him in Game 5, and they lost 2 games in overtime, one of which they led 3-0 after the first period. That team, I don't think Edmonton can beat him 2 in a row. And
I don't know if they can beat him 1.
I'm saying it ends in 6.
All right. The world where you don't get back-to-backs, man. It's damn impressive.
Saw Biz. I saw on Twitter. I think he was on with Big Cat and PFT about how he needs to be more selfish. Like, just he's got one goal.
Yeah,
shoot the puck more.
Yeah, I think that's a lot to do with the other team.
I don't know. I think, look, the Draisaitl is a machine as well.
Yeah.
And obviously Edmonton has a number of different guys that are plenty capable of scoring, but it's at some point, if I'm Edmonton, I'll sink or swim with whatever 97 wants to do, but puck's on net. Fire him. It doesn't make any difference. Florida's better. Picked him to start. Nothing has knocked me off that. And also, Paul Maurice. Fuck off! People send us some memes, GIFs, whatever.
I would have loved to hear what he would have said if he was Sam Burns on the fairway.
I think it would have been that.
That would have been awesome.
Just on loop. Give me how many rules officials are there? Line them up. How many am I allowed? Bring them.
Oh.
We got a plane to catch. I got a bunch of other things, though, I've written down.
Yeah, I know. I have a million things.
Coastal Carolina. Haven't lost a game since April 22nd.
It's impressive.
Can they win the whole thing?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah. They're built for it. And that's the one thing. And I love college baseball. And I've just been thinking about it is when they get to Omaha, The long ball's taken out of it. And I'm not saying it should be a part, they should move the fences in 100 feet, but it's amazing where teams could, last night, Coastal's up 6-1. Oregon State's got guys on in the 8th and the 9th. And the way they could put their outfielders deeper so you're not going to get a hit. The ball can't go out of the yard. It's a different game. But I think, teams have noticed that, but the way Coastal plays, I actually thought it was impressive how they got Hiff Batman called back with the bases loaded. That would have gave them their first run. They called back, said he leaned into it. There's a lot of that going on. But you got to manufacture in Omaha, and they are so built for it. And whereas LSU on the other side of the bracket that beat Arkansas, boom, they put up a 3 spot. Arkansas's ace gets pulled after 38 pitches. And, again, they get a solo homer. They can't do anything else to manufacture. So, to me, it's kind of a different game. But Coastal, they're built for it, man. You got, and Murray tried, but like I look at them, I wonder about their arms now that they're in the losers bracket. But that they play the way they just single you to death. They don't have any big boppers, so it's kind of interesting to see how this plays out because Arizona had a big lead and Louisville got hot and just manufactured a bunch of runs.
You keep saying how it's a different game, and it is.
It is.
And I don't watch it the way you watch it. But it's clear when you watch these super regionals. I watch the regionals and super regionals and enjoy it because it's just the intensity of places. Like that Arkansas Tennessee series was madness. It is kind of funny to watch baseball, which is so play the right way. Like college baseball is the exact opposite of play the right way. It's gotten to a point, like I'm going back a series between Arkansas and Tennessee where the hatred that exists and the amount of just outward shit talking that goes on is unbelievable. And like, I get that Arkansas, like I felt like they were like a little across the line against Tennessee, but Tennessee, you planted that seed.
No doubt.
So whatever falls off the trees, you're the tree that made those things happen. So I don't have any pity for you going back a series, but it feels like once you get to Omaha, there aren't nearly as many homers, and I don't feel like the chirping and the atmosphere feels completely different, and maybe it should be. Maybe that's sort of the way it ought to be. Like, you earn the right to have a super regional in your joint. You can do whatever the hell you want. But when you get to Omaha, act right. Feels like that's kind of what happens. Is that a fair assessment?
Yep.
Okay. But I do think a sport where so much is predicated on the ability to hit long balls, and your offense is kind of based on that, and then you get to a yard where the ball just doesn't fly out of it, kind of it'd be like if you got to a Final Four and all of a sudden the rim was 6 inches higher. I'm not kidding.
No, you're
like,
right.
Okay, we have to change the way we play the game because our offense just isn't the same. Oh, it's kind of an odd phenomenon, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if there's a fix, but it's different than Rosenblatt by a lot.
But the team, everyone knows it going in.
Well, and it's just like the golf. It's just like the golf.
Execute.
It was the same for everybody.
Execute.
It's the same for everybody. The fences aren't, Williamsport for one team and 600 feet for another team. What else you got written down you want to get to?
Swim season.
And?
Unbelievable meet. We flew back late Friday night, and I'm there. I'm at the pool at 8 a.m. Some of the dads were like, what the hell are you doing here? I'm like, first Amy of the year? I can't miss this. It was nuts, man. As the kids, grow older and you lose some, you gain some. Like, we lost all our boys. Our older boys, like our 15 to 18, were studs, guys that
swimming in college.
Yeah, Division I, Power 4 conferences. And you see how the tides turn. Now our older girls are better and everything. So like we had girls got 220 points. The other pool's boys had 220. It literally came down to the relays at the end, and they're 175. So you go older kid 50, older kid 50, older kid 50, little guy 25 or girl.
And the pool deck when that's going on is as excited as any sporting event could ever be.
And that's, literally, you have an idea, but like literally, I'm talking to the coach, and he's mixing and matching the relays for the end. He's like, it's going to come down to this, and we were at probably the middle of the butterfly session. And I'm like, holy cow. And then, they pulled it out in the relays. The relays ended up winning by 5. My middle one's friend had set the pool record for 18 or 8 and under butterfly. It was awesome, and the weather was weird. Sun wanted to come out because we're not there yet, but those Saturday mornings where the sun's out at 8 a.m. and you're roasting all day. But it was awesome to be back. We're in full session. We're full go. Our kids are still in school, which I cannot. Woke up to an email this morning from a teacher saying, "Yeah, I was going to show this movie. It's PG." I'm like, "Why you send an email now? You've been showing movies for a week."
You haven't cracked a book, and
what? You must be really bored.
They're still in school?
Yeah, tomorrow. Yep.
My God.
With that, we had a promotion. 5th grader going to middle school next year. And boy, let me tell you, it's not a graduation. I've been told no caps and gowns, but they still do the walk up and, they sing a song. And then they actually had a slideshow with a baby picture and them there. Boy, let me tell you, I don't know how it happened because when I go, it's waterfalls. And I could feel my eyes just building and building and building. But they never, maybe had one, but I thought I was going to be full. And I'm telling you, when she walks across and gets her certificates, got some awards for academics, and I'm just sitting there, I'm like, holy moly. Going to be 12 years old, first thing.
Uh-huh.
The other 2 sisters are enthralled by the whole thing, as behaved as I've ever seen them because they want to, move to that. But yeah, emotions were running crazy. So it was cool. Then, had an awesome Father's Day.
That's the great stuff, man. That's the thing about you that I love more than anything is just how right there, your emotions are. I think that you and I are completely alike in that way. And I think a lot of people out there are that listen. I think they can identify with that. And that'll sneak up on you, right? I'm good. Yeah. And then you see the kid, and then because then it's like you start processing it. You're like, man, we got from there to here real quick, and you're gonna blink, and you're gonna be taking a bunch of stuff. I don't know if we still do milk crates when we move into a dorm, but it's gonna happen. And that's gonna forget it. I'll be done by then. Father's Day, anything big? Good gifts?
Got some O'Donnell's crab cakes.
Bang.
Oof, good.
I was on the grill. Let me earn my keep on this Father's Day. Let's fire it up.
Filet mignon?
Hell no. We went straight burgers, dogs. Just keep it easy. Keep it easy.
You slice your dogs on the grill?
No, new grill.
Whoa!
New grill. Shout out to the boys. Barbecue Rescue got us hooked up. New grill.
Is that Guy Fieri?
Oh, it's local. Support your local businesses, Steve.
Grow Snyder's?
It's a different outfit.
Wow.
They came out here and we were servicing the old
fitted.
We were servicing the old one, but it was an old one, so we needed a new grill. So it's a new grill. So now you got to make sure how's our fire. It's a mystery to me. But I got good control of my temperature, my heat. I kept my heat in check so that the dogs didn't turn into fossils.
Yeah.
And the burgers didn't burn at too high a rate that you have charcoal briquettes. So it was Dad put on a masterful display, just flying blind, didn't know, but I feel like I got good gauge of the heat, good temperature control.
It's funny you mentioned Father's Day, and I just think
I wish I were kidding.
Could you be able to cook to feed your kids?
Huh?
You think about the old grills that our dads used.
Talking about the old
here's your hockey puck. You're gonna get it. No matter I want my burger, well done, or you got what you were getting.
No, right? Because
there's no thermometers on the grills that they were cooking.
You threw some Kingsford in a pit, poured some gas on it. There was a bonfire in the back. Meat was in there somewhere, right? The idea of here, let's wrap up some corn and vegetables in the aluminum foil. We'll put this on the rotisserie part of the grill. Yeah, I got your rotisserie right here. I got a big old. What were they called? The ones the big. You took the top off. There's a name.
Like a hibachi. It wasn't a
No.
hibachi.
Why am I blanking on the name? Everybody had the same one.
Charcoal. I could never figure it out.
And there was that little thing at the bottom where you could open it up and the old ashes would fall out. And that became kind of a fun game. A Weber, maybe?
Yeah, but it had a name.
I'm not trying to give want to pop and not give somebody else, but it felt like they were all maybe Weber's in my neighborhood. I don't know.
But I remember, and then like they upgraded to the grill that had the igniter. So like you light it, the gas obviously, and then you would hit. And I remember my dad being like, make sure the top is always open when you hit the igniter. Because you like click.
Of course, just
click.
gas.
It's not going. It's not going. All right, we got 11 clicks there, Pops. We better watch out.
Open the
They'd be
top.
like, all right, everybody back away off the deck. We got to wait to see if it starts. And then
I don't know if you feel
like a
this
volcano erupting.
But I certainly do. I feel like your dad, my dad, and a lot of the dads out there, for the guys that are older, those dads knew how to do stuff that I don't know how to do.
Oh, a million things.
I feel like there was like a week in school that all the stuff that the dads that we grew up with learned that I missed. I must have been sick. Just understanding how to do man/dad things. And again, we live in progressive times. I'm not saying the ladies can't. I'm just saying back in the 70s, the dads did stuff. And this dad, I'm inept at many of those things that I felt like my dad had in the back pocket like it was nothing.
And not that they gave a shit because they weren't there for the compliments, but I love when the kids are able to be like, yeah, Dad, that was a good cheeseburger on the grill. That helps.
I got big props last night.
It helps.
Which makes me realize that the old girl situation probably weren't that great.
I don't even know if I could light it. Just, I'll give you charcoal and the stuff. I ain't getting it lit.
Remember the lighter fluid in there, and you'll be like, let's get a little more on there.
And they would like turn the newspaper and like stick that up the wicket. And it was like, oh God, how big is this going to be? And then how do you put the charcoals out?
Beer. Pour some Schlitz on there.
There's
baby.
Always a Ballantine ale on the grill. Don't worry about that.
An old Schlitz will take you right on out. That's a little different these days.
Man.
But yeah, that was I grilled it up.
Nice. Two things.
Okay.
Hey,
Shohei's getting the ball tonight. Your boy's pitching.
I mean, if we're not going to check his bat. I mean, I thought the Giants was perfect opportunity, rival.
Had a one-handed homer the other way. You didn't like that, huh?
Outside slurve.
Okay.
Pulled it. I mean, just check his bat. Here you go.
Okay.
This kind of made me upset.
All right.
I had SportsCenter on side TV last night. Top 10 plays of the week.
All right.
Spawners putting on 18.
Number one.
Or, which one was number one? Spawners put on 18 or the catch made by the A's guy.
Oh, wow.
I don't think it's close.
The catch in center field is one of the best catches I've seen this year, but the guy won the U.S. Open at Oakmont.
Yeah, he won a major on a putt he's never made.
So
one of the longest ever. They put the catch number one.
It's as good a catch as you'll see.
Yes.
But it's by a last place team in a game one of 162.
Mm-hmm.
Major, Oakmont, 72nd. Losing light all time.
Yeah, like.
Won a title. It won a title.
A major. Trophy.
Fifth major, though.
Oh, baby.
Cromwell.
Stand up. And other things, so I don't have to drink tomato juice.
Oh, I got the V8s last week. You got some V8s. I'm going to go get one as soon as we're done.
Counted the sneakers.
Okay.
What do you got?
Now, are these in rotation? Are these all that you have? Like
all worn within
a couple years.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say maybe a year.
All right.
I'll give you a number 75. Over or under?
I'm saying over.
Over. 81.
That's right around what we guessed.
Yeah. 78, I think, was the
81 sneakers. Now listen, I have a high-end swimwear addiction. I also have a high-end footwear addiction. So I'm not going to cast aspersions because if we do the math on the Ferragamos and the Tom Fords, I imagine I probably could be like dollar for dollar. I'm not going to. But 81 pairs of tennis shoes / sneakers.
Sneakers.
No tennis shoes. A couple Stan Smiths. I'm saying that's a big number.
Yeah.
Big number. Is there a reckoning? Is there like maybe I need to cut it down? Because I'm saying probably not.
I did appreciate it, and I wanted to wear more of them more often.
There you go.
But then I realized it's like 4 closets.
Wow.
Kind of a lot.
And considering you have three
exactly.
daughters that are going to be
who
eventually
never throw anything away.
No, and they're going to become teenagers, and like those closets are going to become deeper. You're going to probably be playing out of the others' closets. Hey, can I wear this? Can I wear that?
Yeah, I'm not going to be we're not hoarding. That's what we're figuring out this summer. We're cleaning out stuff.
Let me tell you how that goes. As a guy that has probably 400 ties, you're going to say I can get rid of this when I haven't worn it, but they're hard to get rid of.
No, I'm talking about the kids' stuff.
Their stuff must go. Dad's sneakers, untouchable.
And I'm just waiting because I do the laundry. We start seeing sizes that aren't even close.
There you go. So in review, after the emotions of being moved to tears by seeing his daughter, like what he's really thinking is, well, she's sized out of that small stuff, so I can get rid of that, so I can clear out another closet for my sneakers.
And what's weird is
that's what I heard.
She's the easiest one, which I know is only going to get worse as we do the math with 3 younger ones. The oldest one has minimal. She's great.
Yeah, but that
maybe could be better with her socks, but
that last one's a princess.
Oh God. She came downstairs yesterday, got her a nap. She had hoops. She went to swim practice early in the morning, then had hoops. Got her a nap. She comes down, pink dress, lipstick, hair done, says, I want to go out for a fancy dinner on Father's Day.
Well, all right then. Where would you like to go?
Right to the kitchen table.
Okay.
And that was it.
But she got dolled up for the fancy Father's Day dinner.
Oh, yeah.
And she did this all on her own.
She did.
That's awesome. Just went up there and
5.
She is.
All done.
Godspeed.
All done.
You really, it's funny. It's funny how the Lord works. You
got no chance.
That, like your first, she's just awesome. Like feels like an old soul, grown up, like a leader.
Yep.
Middle, hell on wheels.
Oh.
And the last one is like that's just God going, hey, that first one, okay, the bills come due, pops, because you're going to be older by the time she's older, but she's awesome. But I mean,
what you worry about with a team is people
chemistry.
breaking away. Yeah, chemistry. And I could see it on the face of the oldest one being like, I'm tired of being the leader of these two.
Okay, I
could see that coming. School's out tomorrow, probably by the end of the week, that conversation.
Well, thankfully, we've been in it. We're already – I think my kids are backpacking in Europe. I don't even know where they are.
Where'd Red go?
I think he went to the back and tapped out.
All
right, we got to get on a plane.
Yeah, we do.
So, OKC, we're heading your way. Indy, we'll see you for Game 6. We got a little Sports Center, I think, midweek at some point. So we're bopping around. And then, by the way,
baby,
and we start working towards our schools out for summer.
Yeah, then we start working to really where in the world is Scott?
Off the grid, easy to find, but hey, right now we focus on the task at hand. So
we got to get you a steak in Indy too.
Okay.
I know you don't like to eat early, but we got to get you a steak.
All right. Well, we'll knock that out.
All right.
Thanks for being with us. It's SVPod. We will see you this time next week.